The rhythm of the cafe. The morning rush at the seaside cafe was always chaos, but Manteo thrived on it. The hiss of the coffee machine, the clang of spatulas against the griddle, the laughter and chatter, it all became part of his rhythm. He was a dishwasher by title, but an entertainer by nature. Pots and pans flew from sink to drying rack with a rhythm that seemed choreographed, like a Benihana cook, but with suds and steel instead of spatulas and fire. Linda, the cafe's main cook, was in her mid-30s, quick with a quip and even quicker with her spatula. When the owner, Gus, hired Manteo, she wasn't sure what to make of him. "He's young," she said. "Probably doesn't know the difference between a sauté pan and a soup pot." But that first week, she changed her mind. The kid could keep up. "You move faster than the dishwasher," she joked one morning, flipping an omelet as Manteo spun a pan through the air to rinse it. "That's because the dishwasher can't groove," he said, giving a little shoulder shimmy and hip roll to the cafe's rhythm. Linda laughed. "You got style, kid. I'll give you that." She couldn't help smiling every time he started humming to the beat of the breakfast rush, plates clinking, coffee pouring, toast popping. It made the kitchen feel alive. Shelby and Vera, the two waitresses in their 20s, noticed too. They were quick-tongued, funny, and always teasing. "Manteo, you missed a spot," Shelby called one morning. "Impossible," he said without missing a beat. "Oh, we'll find one," Vera teased. "Hey, how about dinner Friday? I've got a friend who'd love to meet you." Linda looked up. "You two leave him alone. He's got more sense than both of you put together." "Maybe," Shelby said with a wink. "But does he have a girlfriend?" Manteo grinned. "Tell her to bring a sponge. We can wash dishes together." Vera laughed. "Careful, Shelby. Mama Cougar's protecting her cub." Linda rolled her eyes. "You two better get out of my kitchen before I add you to the menu." The teasing became part of the cafe's rhythm too. The music, the banter, the laughter, and the clatter of plates. Then one Saturday, Shelby and Vera decided to start something new. When Manteo came out to drop off clean plates, Shelby hit play on her phone. A Latin dance track filled the air. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, "the moment you've all been waiting for, Manteo's midday wash jam." At first, he froze, but then leaned right into it. He started dancing with the dishes, tossing his towel in the air and catching it without missing a beat. He even grabbed Vera's hand and tried to lead her in a salsa, but she couldn't keep up. Customers clapped along. Linda laughed so hard she nearly burned a burger. "You two stop pretending to dance and get back to pretending you know how to work in a cafe," she yelled, still smiling. When the song ended, the cafe erupted in applause. Manteo gave a little bow. "Next performance at dinner tonight. Reservations are highly recommended." After the rush, Linda poured 2 lemonades and handed one to him. "You know," she said, "I've been here 15 years, and that's the first time anyone's ever gotten applause in this kitchen." He smiled. "Guess I just like making work fun." Linda nodded. "Keep that up, kid. This place could use a little fun." The following Tuesday, the kitchen was behind schedule. Linda's truck wouldn't start, and by the time she rushed in, she stopped short. Manteo was standing at her station, sleeves rolled up, radio turned up loud, chopping vegetables in rhythm to the music. "Gus told me you'd be late," he said, not looking up, "so I thought I'd help." Linda watched for a moment. His knife work wasn't lightning fast like hers, but it was steady, and right on beat. "Well, I'll be," she said. "Didn't know you had knife skills." He smiled. "Learned at home. My uncle runs a food stand in Puerto Rico. He always said if you can't cut onions on beat, you can't cook." Linda chuckled. "I'll have to meet this uncle of yours." "Yes," Manteo said. "If you go, he'll teach you what real food tastes like." Linda laughed. "I'll teach him what real cornbread tastes like." He grinned. "You'd go as a critic, but after learning to cook from him, you'd come back as my Aunt Linda." Shelby and Vera overheard that, and Aunt Linda stuck, no matter how much she tried to shake it. She grabbed her knife and joined in, slowing her usual quick pace so they were chopping in sync. Soon, both were cutting and swaying to the music, like a practiced duet. Shelby leaned on the counter. "You two should go on tour." Linda grinned. "Sure, you can be our manager." When they finished, Linda leaned against the counter. "Well, you saved my hide today. I owe you lunch." "Lunch?" he said. "I heard there's a cafe 2 blocks over where the cook actually knows what she's doing." "Hey, Shelby," Linda called out. "You know where Gus put that help wanted sign?" The room filled with laughter. As the weeks rolled on, Manteo started helping more in the kitchen. "It was Gus's idea. He's got a full-time job at the sink," Linda protested. Gus folded his arms. "As long as the dishes get done, let him lend a hand. Might be good for both of you." So the next day, Linda handed him a pan and a spoon. "All right, dish boy, let's see what you've got." "For real?" "For real," she said. "Start with today's special." Soon, the kitchen was filled with the sounds of clanging pans and laughter. "Careful with that spice," Linda warned, tasting a sauce. "You trying to burn the customers' tongues off?" They'll thank us later, he said. They'll sue us later, she shot back. Shelby leaned on the counter. You two sound like a married couple. If I were married to him, Linda said, I'd need a bigger kitchen. And a louder radio, Manteo added. One afternoon between shifts, Manteo spoke quietly while drying a pan. Linda, he said, you ever feel like you just weren't made for school? She looked up. All the time. Why? I was never good at it, he said. Didn't matter how hard I tried, it just never stuck. I thought maybe there was something wrong with me. But here, in the kitchen, things make sense. People are hungry. We feed them. It's honest. Linda nodded. Nothing wrong with you, kid. You just found where you fit. She smiled. I tried nursing school once. Thought I'd be Florence Nightingale. But everyone in my dorm started hanging around my room because I kept cooking on a hot plate I wasn't supposed to have. The dorm manager never reported me, said my food beat the cafeteria's. Manteo laughed. So you dropped out? Graduated early, she said with a wink. In common sense. They shared a quiet smile. Two people who had found their classrooms in the kitchen. A few months later, Manteo brought in a surprise. He was peeling green plantains at the counter. Linda frowned. You're cooking bananas? Not bananas, he said. Plantains. I'm making mofongo. She laughed. Hey, no cussing in my kitchen. When it was done, the smell of garlic filled the air. He mashed the plantains with pork cracklings and presented a steaming mound. For you, Aunt Linda. She took a bite, chewed, and nodded slowly. You put enough garlic in this to chase a vampire clear to Norfolk. Garlic is love, he said. Well, love's about to scare away half the customers. But she kept eating. Even Gus admitted it was good. You know, he said, that's not bad at all. Might be worth putting on the menu. And that's how Manteo's mofongo became the Seaside Cafe's most requested dish. By early autumn, word had spread. A food critic from the Tidewater Times came by. After tasting Manteo's mofongo, he said, Son, this is dangerous. Dangerous? Manteo asked. Yes, the man said. Because if word gets out, you'll never wash another dish again. The kitchen burst out laughing. A week later, the cafe won second place in the county food festival for best local flavor. Gus held the ribbon high, grinning from ear to ear. Not bad for a dishwasher, Linda said. Not bad for Aunt Linda's kitchen, Manteo replied. As the sun dipped low over the fairgrounds, the cafe crew sat on the curb eating from paper plates, garlic and laughter in the air. For the first time, Manteo didn't feel like a kid trying to find his place. He felt like he belonged, right there between the music, the food, and the people who believed in him. The next morning, as the cafe came alive again, Manteo smiled at the rhythm of it all. The clatter, the chatter, the laughter, and the steady beat of life by the sink. And somewhere between the coffee steam and the clang of the pans, he knew this was where he was meant to be. If you enjoyed the rhythm of the cafe, please give this story a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who could use a little rhythm in their day.